I'll jump into XRP. Okay, so I'll start with a basic chart, yeah. And just looking at the pattern here is, actually I'll jump into this one, is just to show you, yeah. On this arc here, as you can see, this is Skyline. On this pink arc here, again, this is Skyline. So on the bigger one, Skyline, Mountain Peak. On the smaller one, Skyline. And we haven't had Mountain Peak yet. So now where I think we are is on the bigger arc here. This is third spike. You get a lift, and we get a drop for first drop. So now from here is we get a lift, we get a retrace, and then we get Mountain Peak. So I believe that we are here in the same pattern, yeah. And the reason being is that when you look at the formation of it, is you can see that there's the three tops here, and the bottoms here, the way the pattern works, yeah. So it looks like we're going to have a correction and then our final lift up to Mountain Peak, yeah. Now, I could be wrong here, but that's what it looks like to me. And when I click into here, and I have a look at the correction here, is the correction comes down to between the 065 and the 072, yeah. It doesn't do a full 786 correction. Now, also one of the arguments I would have for it is Mountain Peak normally comes up to resistance peak. Like I show you in this on the bigger one here, here's Mountain Peak, here's the resistance peak. Just generally that's the line that it comes up to, somewhere in the range here, yeah. It goes up in waves. It doesn't go up in a straight line. So for this to just go straight up without it having a correction wave down and then up, it'd be breaking character. Again, it can just do a blow off top for sure, but I think that's the blow off top. So we get our correction, and look, then we start to get our steps up. We look at, does it double top here? It drops, and then there's the blow off top. So I reckon that's what's going to happen. We get our correction down, and then it works its way up, and we get our final blow off top. Excuse me, up to resistance peak. Now that's just following the pattern. Yeah. So now, if I look at that and I start to map it out, is you can see the descending wedge here. I broke out a descending wedge. There's been no back test. So again, I'd be looking for a back test of this wedge, and then to complete this wedge, look, coming back up to the top of the wedge would be Mountain Peak, and again that is complete. But we've had no back test yet. So it's broken out. You can see here there is an ascending triangle pattern that it's in, yeah. These can go either way. It can go either way. That's what these patterns do, yeah. So if I wanted to break out of this, it'd be up at 37.53, and that would make sense for when I stick the fibs on this. $37.53 would bring it up just above the golden pocket, yeah. Excuse me, and then you can see 786. The 072 and the 786 are these numbers here. 37.85, 38.74, yeah. So again, that could be complete Mountain Peak, or we have our back test. Now again, the breakout of this would take it down to 33.78. I think it would come down and do a fuller correction where, if I show you this now, I put the fib from here to here, so I'm putting it from top to bottom, and now if it's coming down for a correction, is I would be looking at, remember we talked about the previous arc, and it was only one sample, is it wicked down to the space between the 065 and the 072, which would be, again, the back test coming down and back testing this descending wedge before it heads on up and completes its move. So, like, to me, that all makes, it just makes sense with the way the patterns move, the wave formations of them. So again, a target would be about 32.7, 32.8, thereabouts, yeah. Excuse me. On the way down, on the way up, I think it'll be simpler. 37.53. Let me put this here. Let me do another. If I actually put it on the wedge here, there you go. About 32.6, 32.7. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, so now when we go into just a little bit more detail, actually this is a very interesting one. Here's my channels chart, all the important channels in XRP's history. So I would have put this channel up months ago, all these months ago, and but look how it's holding. Look at this descending support and resistance line here. Look how it just keeps hitting off it, yeah. I find that fascinating, yeah. So now I'll actually use the example here. Is I'm going to go back to this sample, yeah. And I'm just going to go into the detail of the final move here, yeah. So look, you got your three higher lows. You got your low here, you got your higher low, and then you got this turn here, yeah. So look, you got this 4 hour, you got this 4 hour, you got this 4 hour topping out, you got this 4 hour, you got a second one like this, and then you get your spill. I believe we're here. Again, this could turn and pop up, and there's no doubt about it. But when I look at what I'm looking at, it indicates to me, the pattern indicates that it's coming down here first, yeah. So when I zoom in here, here's that last top, and again you can see that the 4 hour doing a double top here with candles, yeah. It does its drop down. Now this time you can see there was red candles here. This one was very close to following that pattern, but it ended up being green, yeah. And this 4 hour now is on its way down. So it'll be very interesting to see what this 4 hour candle does. And part of what I'll be looking to see is it break below. Where do we want to see it break below? We want to see it break below at least this red candle here, preferably this green or the green one. We might have to wait for another candle before it starts to break this lower low, yeah. So to me, it looks like it's now beginning to find its way down, yeah. So that's what I'm looking at there again. Here's the MAs. When I look at the 4 hour, is bottom left is you can see there's a bearish divergence on the 4 hour. And then bottom right on the stock has come up enough that there's a bit of space to move on down, yeah. On the EMAs, you can see the 5 is up top here. What we really need to see on the next 4 hour is that 5 turn down, and hopefully we get that spill. We get that spill mode coming in, yeah. If I go to the EMAs, here's the 5 minute top left. So you see the 5 minutes just a bit of crossover. You see it did an impulse here, and then it did a double top, and now it's coming down for its correction, and the 5 minutes going to cross over. Now 5 minutes fairly basic, yeah. You're not going to get, that's not confirming anything. Here's the 15. Look how close the 15 is to crossing over as well. And again, it did a double top rejection. But now when we go to the half hour, 15 was top right, bottom left is the half hour, and again you can see how close to 20 the white is to the VWAP and the 55 EMA, yeah. And again, you get the 20 crossing over the VWAP and the 55 at the same time, and it's going to be a bigger dump. And the one that we've been really waiting for is bottom right, is the 1 hour. Is this 1 hour has been playing tiddlywinks with us for the last bunch of days, yeah. And what we want to see is the 1 hour, the 1 hour crossover, and it is super close to crossing over, yeah. And if we get that, let me just actually, because I think potentially this is what's going to probably play out over the next short while, yeah. Here's the 1 hour, yeah. You get the 1 hour crossing down, and we get our spill. And potentially it coming back down to where the 1 hour crossed over here, which is 32.74. Woo! Who knew? Exactly what I was saying earlier on. It would retrace all the way back to where the effort crossed over, yeah? So look, we put the fib on it. And that space between the 065 and the 702, look right there. I didn't actually realize that before I was talking through this. So I think that's a pretty strong potential. But now, where is it going after this? Why, after such a move, is what I think is happening is that it's working up to the 4 hour. The 4 hour the 4 hours crossover. My apologies. I'm not thinking it's the daily. We're looking at the daily crossing over. So if I look at it from this position, look, you can see it got rejected here, and look, we're back down again. And again, look, here it is having to go again. If I'm getting this right, and we've hit a bottom, and we're going to start to do it. This is if we're going to do a leg up, yeah? I think we're going to come back down here, and then we're going to come and do mountain peak. And when we do mountain peak, this will pull the 20 EMA back up closer to the 55 EMA. Yeah. Now mountain peak is actually going to bring us back down to a third drop. Okay, and then we'll do a final peak, something like that. Okay, and within this space is the 20 is going to gradually get lifted up, and then we're going to have decision. It's either going to turn and get rejected again, and then I think, it's hard to say we'll go for a double bottom. It looks like we'll be going for lower lows again. We're going to do another one of these down, yeah. Or this time it succeeds in crossing, and then what I think is going to happen is that we're going to have a relief rally, and we're going to find our way. We're going to find our way up to the bigger arc, because there's a bigger arc going on here. Find our way heading up to mountain peak on the bigger arc. And I think I've gone too far. I reckon we're going to hit around the late 50s, early 60s. Yeah, is when we start to head on up this way. Now again, obviously it'll be waves, and we hit mountain peak, and then we're back down for third drop again. Yeah, and that would fit in. That would fit in with this here. Yeah. That would fit in. That would fit in with it. This here is drop down, mountain peak is third drop. This is on a smaller arc now. Final retrace, and then from here is we have a breakout of this small arc and this secondary arc, the middle one here. We have the breakout, and if we have the breakout, is now we're going and we're testing the top of this channel here, which again will be taking us up to 50, probably breakout. But we end up hitting this support line here, our resistance line at about 58. Possibly a back test, and we move on. But I reckon that the first time we test this, we're far more likely to come back down. And the reason being, in this arc, on the 6 arc here, on this arc it will be mountain peak. This one here, I'll have to move this. Bring this up to here. We'll be hitting a mountain peak, and we're going to have to come down for, again, for third drop, and then we're going to have final peak, final bounce, and then I think we'll have our answer to, are we going to go higher, or are we going to drop again? Yeah, but that's the way out of the lift. Following the same path down is mountain peak here on a smaller one, third drop, final bounce, final peak, you know, and then we end up heading down, yeah. And we're going down for, I'd suggest if we do go down, we're probably going down for 21, 20, 19 even. The bottom of this channel again. So now, I'm nearly done, by the way. I know I'm waffling on, but I'm nearly done. I'm making sense. This channel here, if you look at the bear channel coming down the center line, is the whole game at the moment is this center line. Look, it's been tested 3 times. It is going to get broken in this smaller arc. Even if we come down here, mountain peak is going to break it. It's going to get back tested, you know, and then from there the question is will we get that higher lift, or will we get rejected and then come on down? So I think these arcs playing out, we'll get the bigger answer. There'll be a bigger breakout, obviously, and we'll have our answer to lower lows or a bigger relief rally. Yeah. So now, do I have anything else to say? Just with regards this going for another leg up on the daily, is the challenge with the daily is breaking the 55 here, because it just keeps holding, yeah. So we really need to see this a breakthrough, yeah. I was hoping for the 5, the orange line here, the 5 MA on the daily to turn down, but this didn't really play ball. But if you look where the 5 is here, is potentially the 5, this keeps coming, the 5 is going to turn into resistance anyway, and tomorrow we get the 5 turning down. I reckon we get our final move down. I don't think it'll last too long, and then that'll be it. Is there anything else I can talk about here? I'm testing out some new indicators. They're super, but I don't want to talk about them yet. No, that's it. Yeah, this shows you very clearly the 55 EMA on the daily, yeah, and you can see how it's holding. So we need to see that break, yeah. Okay, no, I won't keep talking on. So now let me just simplify it, and then I'm done. We got to see the breakout. I think the breakout is pretty close. Today, to be honest, I think today we're going to get our answer. And I suppose if we see it breaking this support line here at 35, essentially 35, there it is. See the 4 hour. Actually, that's the one thing I didn't do, is the channels. Let me take this off for a second. So you can see the white lines here are the 1 hour, the red lines are the 4 hour. That's Mahela. So you can see this support line, this 1 hour support line at 34.86. Need to see this break. So either the yellow medial line of the bear channel properly breaks and we get our lift, or, and again you start to see it break above. You start to see it break above 36.17, and there's a good chance there's a target there of 37.52 or a little higher. Yeah. To be honest, with this one here, I think if you see it breaking 36, really, yeah, 36, it's going to head on up. What we need to see for the reversal is it break 34.87, this support line. You need to see it break proper. You start to see it break really working down through here, and then I think we have a target, a minimal target. I think we have a minimal target of about 32.70, 32.80 as a minimum. Yeah, it definitely could go down and do the 786. So that's what I'll see. And probably if it does go down, what you're looking for is, where is it here? This one here, yeah. You're looking for two legs down. So when you're watching it, you'll see the spill, you'll see a consolidation phase, and then another spill, and those final hours, you get a couple of spills like this, yeah. So look for, on the 4 hour, if you're looking to see it bottom out, is look for, as the 4 hour runs down, is you're going to see a green candle bottom out, and then it'll be one final push down, and that'll be it done, and it's ready to head on up. Yeah. So I'll be looking for something like that. You see the spill, 4 hours drop, spill down here. This gets tired out, and we get the turn. Yeah. Equally, I'll be looking at the EMAs for the turn here as well. So, excuse me. So that's me. That's me done. So there you go. Bottom target of 32.70, top target of 37.53. If it breaks 36, it looks like we're heading up. If it breaks 35, 34, 85, it looks like we're heading down. Okay, that's it. I'm going to hand you over to Mihaela.
Good morning, everyone. Now, we're going to have an eventful day today, news-wise as well. So I do agree with Roy. We're going to find out what's going to happen today. We've got the CPI figures coming out at 1:30 UK time. So the market will probably move around then. Lee was saying that last time it pumped 8%. It could do the same today or go the other way around. Now I'm gonna start with today's analysis with ETH because it's shorter in terms of analysis and also clearer than Bitcoin. So ETH has found ETH had two levels that it was not two levels, two patterns, two spaces that it was moving between on the 1 hour time frame. So it had the support and resistance at 1780, and then it had formed more locally this ascending channel. And yesterday when we did the weekly trade setup, we said that one of the first trades to make was from where it was yesterday here, just breaking back into the channel down to the midline. So this would be the safest first take profit zone to mark down. And if I put the fib on it, this would be the 0.5 at 1640. It hasn't yet reached there yet. It hasn't yet reached there, and it's done almost on this chart. It's done the 382. That's interesting. On another chart, it hasn't. Why is that? Okay, but I think I'm gonna have a look at that. Anyways, it's done a 382 here, and I believe it's gonna come for a 0.5, at least a minimum of 0.5, because this was quite a swing in percentages. It was a 20% lift, so a 20% lift without even a 0.5 correction is not very sustainable. Now, we still have to watch today to see what's going to happen around this level, which is the 1650, which I believe is going to be hit. So it's either gonna find support on it while touching the midline, because the midline of a channel can act both as support and resistance. So here we would have two trend lines coming together. This yellow line, which is quite long term for this arc. It's sort of like a central line for the arc, and then the local midline of this channel. So around 1640, 1650, a decision will have to be made. It can correct today down to the 0.5 and then use the midline to bounce off if momentum is strong and the market pumps at positive news today. We might see a lift up to the next level would be here 1870. But we would need two conditions for that. First, we would need the 1650 turned into support, and then we would need the 1780 turned into support. So, of course, I'm looking at how this lift happened, and yes, we could have 2, 3 1-hour candles going straight up through these two levels. Yes, we could have that as well. And that's why we need to, if you want to go with that long in the market, you need to be watching it and see how this is going to play out. If you are in a short, I would make sure I have the, let me put another 10% from where it, I'll be generous, where it was yesterday at the top line. So another 10% would be 1915. So this should be secured as a liquidation if you want to build up your short on the way down. I don't think this sideways consolidation channel is over. I don't think it is complete. If I am looking at what the daily has done, I believe there's still space to move down. The stochastic on the daily is turned down, so there is momentum. The immediate momentum is to the downside. So again, if you are looking to build up your shorts in today's pump, if there is a pump, make sure you have your liquidation high up around the 1920 level to make sure you cover that initial 10% pump. And again, I'm being very generous. I placed it here, and then I placed a 10% rather than an 8%, as was for Bitcoin last time. So again, we haven't seen too much movement for Ethereum, but the movement. This was the chart that I had, and this one. In this one, the three. This is my Bitstamp one. That's why it hasn't. Yeah, I have my MAs on Bitstamp. So. The 382 was reached, and then we're looking for another leg down at the 0.5. So again, in my opinion, it's done. It's 3 steps up. 1, I'll put the second one here, 2, because the second one is the longest one, and then 3 here. So it looks like 4 steps up, to be honest. And this is a triple top formation. And to be conservative about it, a 0.5 is perfectly reasonable, if not even lower, back to level 1 at a 702, even a golden pocket correction, because we have plenty of support in that region. Pattern-wise and MA-wise and even daily level-wise, 1500 is a strong support level. So long story short, I believe ETH will correct today. The market could be influenced by the news, but that's, again, it could also be influenced down the correction path. So it doesn't necessarily have to be pumping today. That's what it did last time. But what we need to be mindful of is having liquidations secure in case it does pump, or putting a stop loss if you don't want to get caught in that DCA game and you don't want to follow it up. Putting a liquidation above these 2 peaks would get you out, and if you want to go with the market, you can go with the market. Now, Bitcoin is a little bit more complicated because it's done a lift on the daily. And while it hasn't broken back into this ascending daily channel, so this is the ascending daily channel that I expected it to backtest. It did backtest. I expected it to backtest here. It backtested it here. It was, I think it was about a week's delay in where this backtest happened. But it also broke out. I'm gonna minimize this for you to see, so that you see the downwards wedge. I keep showing this to you, so you might know it already, but it's good to see it today. Make it 4. So it broke out of this downwards wedge. Now this downward wedge, the way I have it mapped out, it has a an overflow area. So this would be like the overspill area. So breaking out of this would mean it could go up to here 24/7 and touch this. If it were to do that, that means it would break back into this channel. If it broke back into this channel, it might continue going up to 25.7, 25.9 even. So if the market, again, I'm putting a big if because we are assuming the market is going to pump today. The smaller time frames in RSI show that it's overheated. I tend to believe that it's not going to pump today. It will correct today because we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of green for Bitcoin with no correction day. So I believe today might actually be that correction day down to at least 21K, backtesting the 20 on the daily, or even lower, 20K to backtest the support and resistance line of this lift, which would be the level 1 lift there. So I'm showing you the daily so that just like with Ethereum, you make sure if you are in a short, you cover the 26K. That's where my short has its liquidation, 26.4. I do plan to follow it upwards and build it up. So I would cover that area. Do I believe it's going to go there? No, I don't believe it's going to go there. But we need to take into account this scenario. It can go either up or down. So while we are in a trade, we need to make sure we have our liquidations covered if it does pump. And that would be a massive pump from where it is right now up to 26. It would be about 16%, which sounds insane. So that's why I don't personally think it's a likely situation. On the local levels, we have had again no correction of 0.5. I haven't checked this, but I think this has gone to 382. I think this one stopped at 236, and I don't think this one. Maybe this one has had a 236. Let me just check because there are 3 smaller waves within this. There, yeah, this one had a 0.5. This top one, the small one, but the big one, just like with Ethereum, hasn't had a correction yet. Now we see clearly first level up, second level up, third level up. We have the 3 levels up. Could the 4th level be higher with a pump? Yes, it could. I can't read into the future, so but I don't think it will. For that to happen, again, just we need to stay technical, and we need to look at the validation and invalidation in these cases. For Bitcoin to go up to 25K, first it needs to turn the 22.5 into support. It touched it last night. To me, this was a stop loss hunt or a liquidation hunt. A lot of people might have had, again, liquidations or stop losses, and then it got rejected and came back below it. So this line here has not been turned into support, and this is the first support line that it needs to hold to go up to 25K. In order to come down, again, the levels for down are a little bit more consolidated, the 22.2 and then the 20,300. These would be the two levels. If I look at this sideways channel that Bitcoin has been in on the 4 hour, and again, I'll take the one between this line. I'm going to turn it into green so that you see what I mean, and this line, because these are the two main lines. This is an overflow area. It has its own pattern in there. So, but this is our main consolidation channel. So not looking at the swing, we have one swing up, one swing down, one swing up, one swing down, one swing up. We need another swing down. To my swing count, we would need another touch to the bottom, and then we are ready to break upwards. It could be another swing down, not necessarily touching the bottom, because this is what generally happens to the last swing. It doesn't reach the bottom if its intent is to go upwards. It doesn't reach the top if its intent is to go downwards. I believe what we've had here on the 4 hour is a top formation. This swing was very abrupt. It went up very straight, very fast. So I think it needs a correction. If we look at the RSI on the 4 hour, it's continuous descending momentum, bearish divergences compared to the rising prices here. So we've had a rise in price of 6%, and the momentum kept decreasing. So again, long story short, for Bitcoin, the summary of it, we need to see the 22.5 being broken and turned into support. Of course, the market could blast through that level and hit the 25. Yes, that could happen. That happened last time in the CPI pump. It was how many candles? 3 5-minute candles or something like that, something outrageous. Or we could see the correction that this swing needs. There is a lot more liquidity to the downside than it is to the upside for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. So let's keep on watching it. If you are in a Bitcoin short, and if you want to follow it up, which would be a good time to build it up, you can make sure you have your liquidation covered at 26K would be enough. I put it a little bit above it just to be on the safe side. That's it for me. Have a good day trading. Keep an eye out on the charts around 1:30 UK time, because that's when the market will probably start moving quite fast. Have a good day, guys.